Should you have a project car? So a project car is essentially a car that you do stuff with. So you could be restoring, modifying, building, I don't know how to spell it, which is essentially a combination of the two. So this is what you could be doing. I'm doing this one. I'm modifying and semi-restoring. And my project car ownership starts a long time ago. Cast your mind back to, when did I buy him? Some years ago, when I bought my first car. I was a young lad and I bought a vehicle. It's a car. So I bought this vehicle and this was my first car and it was amazing. And then you go, what would it be like if I did this? Or what would it be like if I did that? And I will say, once you go down that road, you are done for financially and emotionally. Once you go down that road of, what if I change this? It might be better. If I change this, I will like it more. If you do that, you will be poor for the rest of your life, possibly. I can't say that in confidence, but I am. So I'm going to go with that. So here's me. I was once a happy young lad owning a project car. Now I'm an unhappy young lad owning a project car because it all goes wrong eventually at some point. It cannot go well at all unless you're very lucky, in which case, good on you. But most of the time, it doesn't go very well, and then you end up spending lots of money. This is a pound sign. That's a euro, and that's $1-ish. You're going to be spending a lot of money probably. Simply put, when you have a car, say it's something like what I've got, a classic 1999 VW, parts are generally, don't know what the right word is, they go along with the price of the car. So if you own a Polo, such as like a bonnet might cost you 50 quid, for example, or a set of wheels might cost you 600 quid, if you're lucky. More than likely it's going to be probably about £1,000 because the wheels are quite small. But say if you own, for example, let's go on the other end of the spectrum, like a 2010 Lexus, I don't know, just because I've got, not a 2010 one, but I've got a Lexus. Parts are going to be quite expensive. A bonnet might not be £50, it might be £100. I don't know because I haven't got one. So if you have one, let me know so I can get the figures correct. But I'm just flyballing here, whatever the word is. Might be £100 because the price of the car, my car, costs probably about 500 quid. That's probably about all it's worth, so 50 quids. And then this car might cost, I don't know, £2,000. That's a 2 in some world. So that's where we're going with it. If you own a more expensive car, parts generally might be more expensive, unless you're on something like, I don't know, an E46 BMW. In which case, the car might cost you 2,000 big ones, but a bonnet might only cost 30 quid because there's lots of them and lots of people do things to them. It's a whole scenario in which you have to figure out where you are on this spectrum of poor to expensive. I'm on the lower side because it's quite a small old car and there's quite a lot of bits you can do to it. So I'm quite lucky in that regard, but then also unlucky because not many people do stuff to that engine. So performance-wise, I'm going to leave it pretty standard. So yeah, this is the spectrum of money. So if you have an expensive car, parts generally might be more expensive, in which case, good luck. But again, a more expensive car, parts might be cheaper because there's more of them. Potentially. We don't know. Like a Fiesta or a Focus, like an RS, something like that. Cars more expensive, but because there's a lot of them and a lot of people like to build, there might be a lot for it. So you see where I'm going with this. Don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Anyway, that's the money side of it. You might end up spending more than you want. and then it'll be, you'll get into, you might be in your 30s, which is a bit of time now, and then you go, oh, your child might come and ask you, oh, what's for dinner? And then mother or father will say, oh no, the clock that you're sitting next to spent all his money on a brand new set of coilovers, so we're eating beans. That's where it's going to go from there. You're going to end up with no money, everyone's going to hate you, your family's going to leave you, and then you'll be sad. Or...
Oh no! Oh no!
Or that doesn't happen, and everything's okay and everything's alright. That's just a scenario I thought of in my head. Everything might be fine, you might be in your 30s, and you might have a nice car and everything is all happy, hunky-dory, smiley face. Or it could be all unhunky-dory. It's just how it works, isn't it? However, money aside, emotionally owning a project car, what it will do, let's go from happy here to an undesired emotional state. Let's call this unhappy. This is the line of emotions. Line of emotions. I'm much better writing than usually am than this. When you own a project car, you will be about, let's do it in a different colour. You will be, put it in red. You might be about here when you have your project car, and then you might go to here when you get your first set of wheels and coilovers and exhaust. It's really, 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 really nice and you're big happy. But then you get to like here and one of the wheels breaks because you've hit a curb because you're a bit of an idiot. And then you have to buy a new wheel and that's going to cost you money. Money. That's going to cost you money. And then it's happy again, and you go back to, yeah, it's all nice and all good. And then you forgot to do an oil change because you're an idiot, and then it's going to cost you more money again. And then you go, yay, oil change, it's all gone well again. And then you go, oh no, I need some new parts to go faster. And then you've got less money, and then you're back here again, and then you're big sad. So it's a roller coaster. You will be constantly up and down this, especially where I'm at. I'm probably about here currently. That's not currently. Because I've got no money, but I have a vision, so I'm pretty excited to start building it. So in those two regards, simply put, should you own a project car? It's up to you. What do you think? Can your budget account for one? Do you potentially have someone else you can rely on when it breaks? Because it will at some point, unless you're again very, very lucky. That's the sort of thing you're going to be dealing with. Because when mine broke, I had to take the tram or the bus to work, or I had to get a lift places because I couldn't drive it because it was broken. And then you have to really, 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 really quickly go to a different city to go and find a gear lever because you snapped the other one because you are a spanner. It's a personal analogy, but it works in this scenario. So simply put, can you afford it? 1, financially, and 2, emotionally. They're the big ones. These are the big two. And then another one is, do you have the space for it? Don't know I'm drawing a Minecraft cube, but there you go. Do you have the space for it? Because I was quite lucky, I have a bit of room on my driveway so I can put one there. If you have a project car, if you don't have a drive when you leave it on the road, that's perfectly fine. A lot of people do that. So basically you have to have 3 things. You have to have the room for it, the money, the wherewithal, and the emotional state. That's 4 things. Basically, do you know what you're doing? Can you do it yourself? Or if you don't know what you're doing, you can't do it yourself, you're going to have to pay someone more money, which is going to make you have less money, which could then make you more unhappy. But it then could make you more happy because you know that the job that you're getting someone to do is going to be done correctly. And then potentially you might have more money because of that, because you didn't do it in the first place and waste more money. Again, ask me how I know. Because I've done all of this in the short time I've owned this car. So quite simply put, again, should you own a project car? I would say, and I'm not condoning any financial decisions here, I would say, again, if you have the space, if you have a teeny bit of financial freedom, I don't have any, but I'm doing this because I like it. Again, emotional state, because you like it. If you think you can put up with it and live with it, and the people in your life can do all the same also, then go ahead. Don't see a reason why not. And also, it could be a project daily, in which you just do little bits over time to it while you keep it on the road while you own one car. Because some people can't afford the luxury of having more than one car. That's perfectly fine. You can have a project daily, which I had for a long time, and then it broke, so I had to get another car and spend some money to get a new car, which was really annoying. But a project daily, that is something that a lot of people do, so it's something that you could possibly do as well. Again, I could be talking out my arse here, but this is something that's a solution to some people. You could do this. It's a good idea, yes? Yes. So yeah, if you want to do a project daily, do things like exhaust, coilovers, like headlights, lights, tinted windows, spoilers, stuff like that. Things that don't, as long as you don't sort of touch the mechanical side of it, like the engine, the gearbox, chances are you might get away with doing this perfectly fine. Maybe things like an intake or a tune, or a safe tune or something like that. This might be a really good idea. But again, it's whatever you can financially and emotionally bear. It's something that you have to measure for oneself. So, on that note, again, should you own a project car? That is the question. Me personally, I would say yes, but again, it depends on you. And we'll leave it there. Should you own a project car? Well, I don't know, should you? Sort of wasted 10 minutes of your time, but there we go. Because if you're watching this, chances are you probably do want one. So, do what you think's best, I think. You only got one life, you might as well do something with it. So, there you go. Should you own one? You decide. Put questions in the comments down below. I might answer them. Someone else might answer them, which is even better. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe and do all that stuff. Put it in the community tab. I'll keep you an update of what I'm doing with my project car. And until then, press like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And I'll see you potentially in the next video. So until then, goodbye.